Gamers, welcome back to another lovely live stream of Factorio. Now, I have done some OBS modification here to try and make the stream and the YouTube video a little better, a little more clean. I'm starting to experiment with like multi-track recording, which is super cool. I'm really trying to dial in the settings of audio, just like that. Well, that'll just happen throughout the gameplay, which sucks. But I'm really trying to make this a more pleasurable viewing experience, and you guys will have to let me know either in chat or in the comments section if you guys prefer either like a sped up factory building or just kind of like a smash cut to the final build. And I'm really trying to improve how like I talk about the factory and stuff like that, and talk over the gameplay, because sometimes let's move these guys over here, because sometimes I've noticed, especially when I've been editing this stuff, that I'm like, okay, I am trailing off and I'm losing my train of thought and stuff like that. It's like, okay, this kind of sucks. But I'm thinking to myself, perhaps I can be more what is it called? Not mentally focused, but be more aware of, okay, when am I saying a big statement? When am I saying a big chunk of something? And then that's going to stay in the video, obviously. But then if I'm just building something, I can mumble to the chatters who are watching me live here. But I really don't need to be super focused on talking. However, I really want to be focused on these kind of micro projects within the factory. You know what I'm saying? So I'm extremely, I want to be conscientious, maybe is the word that I'm looking for, of when I am building, like I want to be building that entire, oops, this is bad. I'm so sorry, I am getting distracted because I am dying. So my train of thought is essentially, I want to be conscientious of, let's say I'm building up the furnace stack for a new copper or something like that. I want to be aware of when that's happening, and I just want to focus on building that, right? I don't really want to build anything else. I don't really want to have to do anything else. And then the whole video can be pretty easy because, well, I'm just building, you know, section A, section B, section C, and that's fine. Easy clap, easy clap. Also, I've heard some feedback, which was, hey, what the hell even is this game? And you've explained none of the lore, and it just kind of got right into it. And I realized, dang, that is so true. So, let me break it down for you guys. Essentially, the lore of the game is we crash landed on this alien planet, and we are this engineer guy, which actually, let's choose a little character for ourselves. What are we thinking, guys? We'll go purple? Oh, purple's looking cool. So there we go. We got our purple friend here, and we've crash landed on this alien planet. And it's our job to get off the planet. And we do that by researching different aspects of a factory. For example, right now we have automation and logistics science. And eventually, with this big research tree, we can get to more fancy things like chemical science and utility science. And we can get robots and trains and lasers and nukes even. And the whole point accumulates into this rocket silo here, where we have a whole bunch of research spanning way across the game, and we ultimately need to leave and launch the rocket. But unfortunately, we have these nasty friends. They are the biters and the spitters, and they have these nests, and they feed off of our pollution, which is well, it's just something that they do, I suppose. And that is kind of the, I'm gonna almost an RTS like point of view from this game, where you have to juggle not only building the factory, but also defending yourselves from these biters and spitters that come to attack your factory, because they ultimately hate that you're moving in. But we will persevere and we will prevail, and we really don't care who's moving in onto our territory. Last thought before we really get going here is I want to be more aware of, like, not what I'm saying per se, but what I'm doing. Like, I noticed from the first video and from the first live stream, or I guess Let's Play, I've streamed a little bit here. Not the first live stream ever, but I'm just kind of using a lot of pronouns like, oh, yeah, this guy needs to go over here so that I can cover this. And yeah, we need to load it up with these things. That'll be that. What? Huh? It should have been... I need another gun turret to the south because I don't have any turret coverage. As you can see from the map, my turret coverage was only kind of covering this northern part of my factory. So I need to put a gun turret into the south, fill it up with some more ammo so that it can then defend this southern border. However, because we took out this nest to the west, I don't expect to have many friends soon, but be prepared, I've always said. So stuff like that, I could be more descriptive and not necessarily take more time out of building, but perhaps make it more interesting for the viewers instead of just like, oh, yep, I have too many of these blue guys in my box. Let's put it back so I can kind of save up there. When instead it should be, let's put these blue hands back in the chest so we can stop producing blue hands. Or this here are inserters, fast inserters. That way, we can kind of save on our materials so we don't waste as much putting into the blue hands. Stuff like that. So we'll see how close I actually stick to that. But I don't know. It's just kind of fun thinking about how to make like my job easier, and as well as the viewer's job easier, even watching this video and perhaps this live stream as well. So yeah, if you guys have any extra comments on like, you know, hey, what could I do to improve a live stream, like just general tips and tricks, please, I'll take them. Because the gameplay part, I got down. I have played many hours in Factorio. Granted, the factory's not pro level by any means. We are already an hour in and we only have, what, a half stack, or a half furnace stack of iron plates and barely any red science. However, the streaming part is where I'm kind of, not necessarily lacking, but more advice doesn't hurt. Excuse me. I'm also waiting on a package today, you guys, so I might need to pause stream and grab the package. We'll see what happens there. But the first thing I want to do is ultimately we need more iron. The factory is limited by pretty much the main bottleneck in this game is your resources. If you have tons of resources, everything else kind of flows from that, right? Right now, we're doing fine on iron, but I want to build up a good-sized iron mining facility, an iron mining place. That way we don't have to worry about it for many hours to come. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to cut the power. Just kill the power to the factory here. That way, we stop the spread of the stink, which we can see on the map here. And if we cut power, and while I'm building especially, then hopefully the biters won't attack me while I'm trying to do something. So, I also want to try out a new design that I've never done in any of my playthroughs before. And that design is going to be kind of this cross design, which has maximum, I think, upwards of 90% coverage for my iron electric mining drills. So I think what I'm going to do is build one of them. We're going to make a blueprint together. Exciting. And I also might make it snap to grid. We'll see. But here's the idea. The idea is... Yes? Nice. The idea is we have these 3 miners that are squished together. And we use underground belts to connect the rest of them. So here's kind of one... oops, and I need to have a power pole there. So here's kind of one tile of this design, right? And let me go ahead and blueprint this now. Alt-B. And this will be basic electric mining. And we'll try to snap to grid to see how much I like it. Yeah. So already I'm noticing this is not what I want. So we're going to go back into our blueprint. Oop. We're going to put that here. We're going to edit this. And we're going to do width of, instead of 8, let's try 6. And then let's see if that will be better. Ah, so you notice right there that the, what do you call it? The underground belt is staying in the same position. So that means if I place it like this, I can then tile horizontally, which is super cool. But I'm also realizing this needs to tile every other. Here's what I mean. Let me unsnap to grid here. I'll save this. So this needs to be here. but then I'm also going to place stuff over here like this. So I'm not sure actually a snap to grid is going to work for this design, but I still think this is pretty cool. I did sort of come up with this on my own, but I have seen this design in the past. That was pretty cool. So yeah, and that's the iron kind of covered right there, and that's fine actually. So for now, we're going to get started on kind of this main thoroughfare, and we can slowly branch out as we gain more resources and stuff. But obviously our limiting factor is going to be, well, the factory's off and not producing any iron anymore, which means we can't make any more drills, which is, well, it is what it is. So let's get started on mining here. And actually, I'm also going to try this. I'm going to try to line myself up in a position like here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know if I want to count. We'll just kind of line ourselves up here. That's good enough for now. And then I can then leave and do something else. Right, I need to think about making transitional comments so that, again, editing is just so much easier. Because again, just like Factorio, I want it to be efficient. I don't want to have to spend a ton of time trying to edit a video down. Right, if I spend an hour and a half streaming, I don't want to spend any more than an hour editing a video, right? I want to do less time than that. So I guess we can put in a long arm and a fast arm. And we'll limit this to 30 drills. Now, I also really want to make sure that we're protected, so I will put extra bullets down. Perfect. Good, 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 good. Alright, so we're going to expand the mining operation, because now that we have a assembler set up to actually make mining drills, this will make it a lot easier to actually start making this mine, because we don't have to wait around and do nothing while we're waiting for crafted... Uh-oh, we're out of belts too. While we're waiting for crafted underground belts. Who's eating my... Oh. Damn, I didn't even notice that. That sucks. Alright, let's go get some more belts. Perfect. And then we'll head back. Look at that. Instantly, we have tons more. And I kind of like this grid that is showing up here. You see that? It's kind of like this kind of diamond shape, which is cool, with the electrical poles. So I'm super happy about that. That is curious, though. Let's try putting it on both sides of the track like this. Perfect. And that is a full belt, and I think we're going to be done with mining for now. We can leave all these blueprints up shortly. And actually our power's getting hit too. So let's go over and deal with those biters. Okay. We're going to heal this up. We're going to place more defenses down. Oh, that's just the same guy. Okay. We're going to wait for a gun turret so that I can put some initial power defense down here. We'll do a half stack of bullets, and let's head down for a little expedition. Also, let me know about the noise levels as well. I've tried to balance it out, but if you guys prefer either voice or gameplay being louder, I'd be more than happy to oblige. Regarding actually like killing biter nests and stuff like that, the trick is to do this wiggle. So you can see my little guy dancing. I'm just spamming on the WASD, and that's because of the targeting system of the worms that you can see that kind of guard these nests. The worms try to predict where you go, and if you wiggle around like this super fast, they have a trouble actually hitting you because they think you're going to go to the right, but you're wiggling back and forth, so you're actually more to the left, and you end up not being shot, which is great. So, another thing in this game is evolution. So, you see here this evolution percentage is like how much stink the biters have eaten up. And as that number gets higher, right now we're only facing like small biters, small, not even spitters yet, but as that number gets higher, we start facing harder enemies, more enemies, and larger of everything. So the worms can get bigger, the spitters and biters can get bigger. I don't know if the nests can increase in size, like physical size, but I think they definitely get stronger because they can produce, they can produce more nasty bugs, and they can produce the bigger kind of nasty bugs. Because I think, for example, let's say a small nest can only produce small bugs, right? Duh. So, yeah. So, what do we need to work on now? Well, right now, as you can see here, we are locked behind a steel, I don't know if paywall is the right term, but I think we need to start producing steel because many of these things need steel. Before that, however, I think we should also do some green science as well. I think green science would be pretty handy because the sooner we can start, the better. So let's make a small production facility for green science. And we're just going to kind of theory craft some stuff. And this, again, might be an opportunity for me to just either fast forward or skip ahead and be like, whoa, look at this cool design. Okay, first things first, we need more assemblers making more stuff for us. This is called a mall because it's kind of like you're going shopping. You just have all your goodies in the same space, right? So that's, I think, why people call this a mall. So let's expand. First, we need to figure out what the cost of an assembly machine is. And luckily, the cost is completely covered by everything we've already placed in this kind of top row of belts. So we can simply drag them down here, and just like that, we're making assembly machines. Easy clap. I hope. Come on now. Just like that. Perfect. I also want to be making red hands as well, which require these type of inserters. What else do they require? Plates and gears. Ouch. I think 4 is kind of the right number for us, which is great. Research just finished, which means now, if we look at our research tree, we have nothing we can make with just red science, which means we are forced to make green science, which is fine. Now that we have both sets of hands being made at quite the clip, we're going to have 20, which is great. Plenty of assemblers. We can now start theory crafting this green facility here and kind of try to envision what it looks like. We're not going to attach it to this mall because it's kind of a spaghetti nightmare, and we're going to try and make it similar to this, where it's on its own and it has its individual lines and things coming off of this main bus here. So let's begin. Actually, guys, I see no incentive to move this at all. I don't see really any incentive. And then we can power this up. And there's our gears. There's our circuits. And there is our kind of mini bus for beginning manufacturing green signs, which is lovely. Just lovely. So, does this need 1 and 1? This does need 1 and 1. And let's look at times. This is 0.5. This is 0.5. So for every... However, if you notice, this has 2 transport belts for every production. So for every 1 thing that's making belts, we need 2 that is making hands, or inserters, I should say. Beautiful. And now we're researching green science things, which is very cool. Now, these guys take a very long time to make. And what seems to be the problem? Ah, iron. Iron is the problem and the enemy. So, I think now we need to start working on fixing our iron deficit that we have. The design that we have is inefficient. Here. And look at that. Everybody's happy so far, which is great. We're currently pretty easily able to eat this entire... It's not even a full belt. You know what I'm saying? It's not even a full belt with items on it. So I'm super happy with that redo of the furnace stack for iron. Let's grab some more drills, because we need to drill more coal. Drill, baby, drill, as we like to say. But, oh. Yes. That's not good. Ouch. Let's just collect all of this juicer iron. Perfect. So, for every 1 boiler, we need to make 2 steam engines. Great. We also need to make some pipes as well, so we'll make 5 of those. And that should be fine. Now, you'll notice we are close to a full belt. Close to a full belt of iron production. We have some spots, and that's okay. But already... Oh, uh-oh. We're, like, splitting it in half, and half again. And it's not looking the best, you could say. So... that means we need to expand this to get more iron. Which means, ultimately, we're going to have to redo some stuff again. But that is okay. And everybody's happy. Also, here's another showcase of a mod that I have installed, Squeak Through. This would be impossible to walk through in vanilla. Squeak Through allows me to squeak through all the rest of these guys, which is great. So I can walk over pipes and kind of squeeze my way into here. It is huge, and it is difficult for me to play without it. Simply because it is truly that good. I'll just leave it at that. Highly, highly recommend that mod. Just because, especially when we get into oil, which will be later, it will be at least a couple hours before we get into really big oil production and stuff like that. You'll see Squeak Through really shine, which is cool. Also, here's another mod that I can show off. Look at this. There's Disco Science, which is one of the most popular mods. And it simply flashes your labs in the colors of the research and science that it's producing and eating. So that's pretty cool. Lovely. And there is the absolute, pretty close to best iron we can get right now, which is great. So, that's pretty sick. Regarding the production here, are we close to a, full? You know what we could do? We could just say, fuck it, why are we limiting ourselves? And just push everything through. And this will then sort itself out over here. This will kind of balance itself out. We don't need to... It was cool to see it all squished into one belt, I will admit. However, I think this should be fine. Because this will get balanced, and if this ever clogs up and backs up, well, then this will then back up, and it'll be fine. Production-wise, swimming. Absolutely swimming in it. Yeah, copper is actually a big limiting factor now. So... I think right now we need to then work on copper because, yeah, without copper, we can't do much. So let's redo this with a more electric mining focused thing. So let's start sorting away here. Lovely. And look at that. We're doing good. And look at these priorities allow us to continually have a stream, and it essentially blocks all of the production except for the filter over here. So I think that's pretty cool. And looks like we're only going to get like a half belt because of it just being kind of weird, but that's fine. Oops. All right, great. So that is copper mining done, and we can actually fill this out. Let's do 6 more, just because I want to. And I don't think having too many plates is like the end of the world. There we go, beautiful. Now we're eating plenty of copper, and our stink is growing more and more. So, I think it's time, I definitely think it's time to start building some grenades, because grenades are pretty cool. Also, I'm going to show you guys a turret creep, which is a pretty efficient way to deal with these nasty, nasty biters. So, let's move up towards this north, and I can show you guys what I mean for how to easily take out nests. Alright, so here's how to turret creep, you guys. First, you set your turrets in your hotbar. Then you set your bullets in your hotbar. Then, what you do is now that you have a hotbar, you can then fill these up with guns. And just let the turrets, who are faster and better, kill all the nasty biters. And if you ever need to fall back, no problem. The turrets can help and save. So let's build some more. And that's how you turret creep. This was a little bit sloppy because we simply did not have any big biters, or big worms especially, is tough for turret creeping, but that's basically the basics. So let me see if I can do it again here. Let's build one way in the back, fill it up. Great. And now that we have this one, we can creep along like this. Now that we have this one, creep along like this. I don't have any bullets anymore. That's fine. Since we have a couple of turrets in the front, we can then remove the one in the back and place another one down and kind of keep going about our business here. Ta-da! And it keeps me a little safer, a little saner, I will say as well. Oh. Let's get off of that. Oh, now this is a big nest. This is a big nest that I don't know if we're going to be able to take down easily. Shit! Woo! That was close. Let's, now this is where we're going to have to really, like, be careful. So we just want to make sure the next time we build something, the turrets are in range of the previous turrets. Because there's going to be a moment where they're not loaded, and that's going to kind of suck. So let's wait, and let's go. And these are going to get taken out pretty quick. That's fine. Don't mind the emergency message. That is simply because our turrets are exploding right in front of us. Beautiful. Now, look at these. These are still small worms, which is great, which means we can efficiently take these out from a decent distance. And actually, let me remove these. I want a few more turrets here. Fuck it. So I guess while they're distracted, I can then take out the worms. Sure. A bit of a waste of ammo, but whatever. Alright, sweet. We cleared out a whole bunch of bad guys, whole bunch of biters. Spitters. Oh, those are spitters now, huh? Yikes. Also, I don't know if you guys could see that, but their health of all of the bugs, as well as the spawners, go up as evolution increases as well. I guess the problem with this initial spawn... The problem with this spawn is that there's no trees. Shit! We're getting our butt ate. You guys! Stop it, stop it! Fuck. Oh. Oh. Damn. That really sucks. And they took out one of my steam engines. Well, that just means we need to be a little frostier with our defenses here. Actually, that's fine with 49. That is quite unfortunate. Oh, and they took out my underwater and my piping. Okay. Let's then put these guys back. power back. Let's put the belts down. Let's put the water guy here. Oh, are we in a deadlock? I believe we are in a deadlock. Yeah, that is just kind of is what it is, huh? I'll kind of put this there. Dang. Quite the dip in power, huh? Yikes. All right. What's next, and what's next on what we're doing here? We have very good iron. We have decent copper. We don't need a ton. We really don't need a lot of copper. Like, we're already full, so who cares? You know what? I could fill this out. Why don't I do that quick while I'm at it? You know what I'm saying? So we have like a third copper stack already. Regarding research, we can have a ton more. And honestly, maybe I should start building labs. But, meh. Who really cares a ton about that? Maybe I'll build a few more, just to say that I did. There we go. It's only direct insertion that'll really fix it. So, that's fine. Perfect. Oh my god, it's steel. It's steel, that's the next step. Duh. It's steel by a long shot. By a very, very long shot. Now that iron is done, steel is the next thing that needs to go into the factory here. Which means I think we're going to clear all these trees and put some sort of steel manufacturing. Honestly, we could put it here. Maybe we could put steel here, because then we don't have to clear as many trees. And let's start making a blueprint for our design here. I still want to go with the design that we had initially. So let's go with my initial design here, where we have a nice belt in the middle. And we'll have, this time, a 2 furnace setup, like this. And the power bowls just kind of suck to work with, because they just don't cover shit. You know what I'm saying? They just don't. And, that actually looks pretty clean, because then I can drag it all around like that. Alright, let me get some more. Let me get some more belts as well, because we're going to need it. Great. Screw it, we'll make it nice and even for everybody. And I think that's it, honestly. That looks pretty sweet. And there's our blueprint. And we'll go basic steel. Create the blueprint, save it into our book, and we'll actually move this around. So now we have furnace and steel. And ultimately, this needs to be deconstructed, so I can expand this out to where I want it to be. While we have the space, I suppose. So you'll notice I'm not combining this center belt anymore, because we're going to need all the stuff that we can get. Because these are only going to be half belts, which I then split into quarter belts anyway, so let me go there like that. Cool. And now we have perfect quarter belts. Oh, beautiful, you guys. Just lovely. So now we may begin the dance. What's the problem with this picture? How could we possibly feed these fucking furnaces if there's no coal? That's all right. I've experienced this before. Do not worry. Here is the solution. We simply feed the coal. We feed the coal through the middle, which means we're gonna have to redo the middle power line, which sucks. Believe me, it's pretty bad. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah, that's just how it's gonna be, I guess. No, these should have been... Fuck, these should have been too wide. Son of a bitch. Because even if we put a half belt of coal on the bottom, it's going to be pretty miserable. Well, I think I'm going to call it. Steel failure. But that's all right. Big X over that. We'll have to fix it next time. Perhaps we can save it down here. However, that's it for today's video, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And you know what? We got a lot of progress done. I mean, if we're looking around the factory, huge improvement in the iron and copper mining. Big improvement on the iron, like, smelting stack, which is great. We were able to make green science. We expanded our mall a little bit. We kind of half-assed did steel, but it is what it is. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, gamers, and I hope you guys have a lovely, lovely day, and we'll catch you all next time.